Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to review Crossfire Sierra Squad VR, a game that was released on the Steam store August 29th, 2023. The odd thing is that this game released in early access for PC VR at a 10% discount. It normally retails on PC for $26.99, but it is $29.99 on PSVR 2. I received a free Steam key through the Steam Creator Connect program to review this game, and I tested it out on the Meta Quest 2 using link cable. The developers described the game as a fierce military arcade shooter, and while the game definitely is best played online co-op with friends, you can definitely play it single player without any issues at all, really. This game got a lot of negative reviews upon release by major VR content creators. It was rated mostly negative on the Steam store, and it's still at a mixed review status. However, in my opinion, they're just wrong. And one way I differentiate my review from a lot of other reviews you may have seen is that this is a full review. My total playtime currently is 13.4 hours. I beat the campaign mode in both normal plus difficulty along with realism difficulty. I did many squad missions and I fully upgraded my weapon. I collected at least 10 different weapons. I unlocked 32 out of 35 achievements. I played the game on easy, normal plus, hard, and the devs can't clear, and I did clear at least one level on that difficulty. And this is just one of those games where the more challenging it got, the more tactical it became and the more fun it was. But I definitely understand why some people didn't like this game. It is an arcade shooter, and I have heard some people describe this game as Time Crisis or as an on-rail shooter, and it definitely does have some of that DNA in it, but it's also a mix of a mil-sim shooter, so it really is a mix of these two different genres of shooters. And it may seem a little bit odd at first, but the more time you spend with it, the more time you just appreciate the game. And if you enjoy games like Zero Caliber or After the Fall or Survive VR, then I think you'll appreciate this game, as I think this game is the best version of all those different games, although Survive is a little bit different because that's more of a zombie survival type game. So let's get into the nitty-gritty details of Crossfire Sierra Squad to find out if this is the game for you. First of all, there is a whole lot of content and different modes for this game. There's a story campaign mode, there's squad missions, and there's a horde mode as well. After a total of 13.4 hours in this game, I'm nowhere near completing all the content for this game. There are 63 total missions, 39 different weapons, and 17 different types of enemies. And the average mission probably takes around 15 minutes to complete, but if you're struggling, it could definitely take a lot longer than that. And for the most part, these are open maps. There's several ways you can trek through the map. However, there's definitely certain dead ends and locations you can't go into. And that was probably one of the most frustrating things for me, is that there are certain parts of the map that look like they should be open, but they're not. And they can definitely feel very much on rails at times. The good news is that there is verticality in this game, but I do wish there was a bit more to it. I wish you could climb ladders and stuff like that. And while parts of the map are destructible and you'll see like wooden objects that you can shoot through and break, or windows that you can break with your bullets, there's also several parts of the map that you just cannot destroy and are not destructible, and it is disappointing when you come across that. And I think one part of this game that's very underrated is just the map layouts and just how good this game can be when there's stuff like weather or other particle effects that can affect your vision, and just how natural the cover system is in this game, with all the different types of enemies and all the different types of explosions that happened, along with the grenades and the snipers, and then just the RPGs and the heavily guarded enemies with shields, or the heavies with the LMGs. This game can be very exciting, thrilling, and tactical. And the visuals here are excellent, some of the best in PC VR, and this is why I'm surprised this game is getting such negative reviews, because this is one of the better looking games, and it has excellent gameplay on top of that. And it's just not the good visuals, but it's got good lighting, shading, it's got very good particle effects. This is just a good looking game. Now there is an issue here. This game is running on the Unreal Engine and on high graphical settings on my RTX 3080. I was getting mostly 90 frames per second. However, I did experience several stutters during my gameplay, and it did affect gameplay because those stutters would happen during an intense firefight. So this is a very big problem, and I have not experienced any crashes during my playtime, but one of my friends did tell me that their game did crash on a certain level while playing online multiplayer. So those are major issues that definitely need to be addressed in the early access. Now some of you may be wondering about the story in this game, and I have to say that the story isn't very good. I mean, it's like an 80s action movie where the story is just an excuse for all the action. So this is basically this game. The story is just a vehicle to get you in the middle of action, to get you that Rambo feeling of being a one-man army. And if that's your expectation, then the story is sufficient. It gets the job done. The voice acting is good enough, the story is brief, and there's enough here that the story is not an impediment to the gameplay. So I think the story works for this type of game, as long as you're not expecting a story with an in-depth plot and character development. The sound mix overall for the game is good. I really like the musical soundtrack for the most part. The gunfire, the explosions all sound good, but I did have some issue with the spatial audio. I often couldn't tell where footsteps were coming from, and a lot of the time I found out they were my own footsteps. Now a lot of people had complaints about the weapon handling in this game. Now I personally think now with the latest update, the weapon handling is pretty good, but it's definitely not perfect. But again, I think this has a lot to do with expectations. If you're expecting an arcade shooter, then the weapon handling here is excellent. My biggest complaint is the auto shouldering and the auto scope, but I turned those off in the settings, and I recommend that you do so as well. My other big complaint would definitely be the reloading here. It's kind of a mix between total arcade and some realistic reloading. Basically you just move the magazine near the weapon and then it'll do the animation for reloading without your real input. You can also button press the magazine eject to move the weapon near your holster and it will reload. But obviously we would like to see more realistic reloading where you're also charging the weapon. I think that would really improve the realism of this game, and I hope the developers add this soon. But I think overall the recoil, the weapon sway, the stability, and just the precision aiming that's needed for this game are excellent for an arcade shooter. And all the different attachments and all the upgrades you can do with your weapon just bring this game up, and really much better than what many other reviewers are claiming. And you can experiment with many different loadouts. You have 3 different holsters for your weapons, 2 that you can pick out from your loadout screen and 1 that you can use for found weapons on the maps. And all this just adds to the replayability of this game. This game feels different with the different weapons that you use, with the different difficulties. The realism mode is very different than the hard mode of this game. And towards the end of this game, you're going to see me playing a squad mission on hard difficulty using a sniper rifle, and how that totally changes the gameplay. And especially at the higher difficulties, the AI here is better than most other VR games. You will get easily flanked if you're not careful. You do have full locomotion along with smooth or snap turning. You can change the degree of turn or the speed of the smooth turn. You can play left or right-handed. You can play comfortably seated or standing. There is a button crouch. There is a comfort mode as well, and there are just so many settings in this game I couldn't possibly cover them all. So overall, I do think this game is excellent and definitely has flaws though, but I really don't understand why this game got so much hate, especially upon release, because this game is one of the best at its specific genre. If you like arcade shooters, I think you will like this game. In fact, it is one of the best arcade shooters in VR. And if I have to rate Crossfire Sierra Squad, I would give it a really good 7.5 out of 10. Those who follow my channel know I'm a tough grader, and a 7.5 is a really good score for me. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. This has been my full review for Crossfire Sierra Squad PC VR. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're on the fence about this game because your favorite major VR content creator told you this game was bad, well, I challenge you to go ahead and just try this game on the Steam store, and if you don't end up liking it, then you can go ahead and just never listen to me again. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video and have a wonderful day.
Oh, sniper! RPG! The number of enemies is higher than expected. Everyone find cover and respond. Helicopter incoming! That guy looks like a leader. John. Enemy leader taken down. Clean up the remaining enemies on the battlefield. Short strip. All enemies. The weather conditions are worse than expected. Poor visibility.
A thermal imaging scope ready. Watch out for long shots! Oh, sniper!